Okay, so let's make sure that the video is up and running. It's another one of those days, isn't it? Where it's just going to take forever, isn't it? So right now, it still says 0 people. I'm not even viewing yet, even though technically I am viewing, but I'm just waiting for the video to start. So how's everyone doing out there in YouTube land? There we go. I can at least hear myself, but I can't see myself. But I see one person up there, and that's probably me. So that means at least the, at least it's reading me. But it still just has just a kind of a blank screen on there, that kind of grayed out picture of me. So we'll see if I restart it. Yeah, there we go. We're fine. And Al Davis is here and says, note me again. So yeah, there's 2 people now. So, but I would have been the first person because I was the first person. So anyway, let's go ahead and open this guy up. This is Webstor, Evil Master of Escape. And there's a nice picture of him looking all spidery with some spider webs. And it says, posable spider legs. And hey, I just saw the new Spider-Man movie and I really liked it. And one of the things I liked about Webstor when I was a kid was that he was kind of almost like an evil Motu version of Spider-Man, and that was cool. So let's see the cross-out artwork on the back. We got Keldor, we got Buzz Off, and we got Webstor. And I haven't got either of the other 2 figures yet, but hope to eventually. And then TMNT N4W is here and says, I'm here. And Al Davis says, now we're a trio. And TMNT asks, what did I miss? Nothing. It's barely been on for 2 minutes, and I've just been kind of yammering and waiting for the video to properly start. So we're going to go ahead and open them up. It says, in the scene on the episode Web of Evil, and you got all these little spider babies crawling around, and he's captured Buzz Off and Stratos. And I think that was part of that storyline where Buzz Off and Stratos, their people are kind of at odds a little bit. I mean, they're allies, but they're kind of tense allies because they weren't always allies. You know what I mean? And then we got He-Man in the snake armor sneaking around up there. And I wasn't too big a fan of the snake armor, if we're being honest. I might be in the minority there, but I prefer the classic look for He-Man. Thank you very much. All right, so let's go ahead and open them up. And I forget where I got this one from, if it was Amazon or Big Bad Toy Store. But like I said, he was the only figure from this assortment that I pre-ordered. And I was hoping to get the other 2 later, but still haven't gotten around to it yet. So let's see, we got these spider webs. And they're in the back, but they're kind of poked through these holes in here. And I can't really tell which way I'm supposed to pull them out. That's strange. Then I'm looking around for the other rubber tabs, and he's got some down at his ankles. Let's go ahead and cut those. And do I see any more? There actually are some up at his elbows. It's just going to be kind of tricky to get these because of the way that the spider legs are placed. So that is unfortunate. Now, Webstor, I don't know if this is how the 4 Horsemen were going to color him if they did the Webstor figure. Maybe there's a staction. I don't know. I don't think there was a regular figure. That got all of them, but he came apart. But he's not the traditional color we're used to seeing Webstor, where he's like a darker blue, kind of that royal blue. But he's more of almost a lavender. It's a very light kind of periwinkle kind of blue. And then Al Davis says, we're working on my sci-fi comic book. Oh, well, I wish you luck on that. Hopefully it turns out really well. Hopefully you're very happy with your end results. So, sounds pretty cool. And he does not have a backpack like the still need to get an Instagram, be Instagram. Yeah, yeah. That's a good place to reach me if you want to reach me. Instagram or Facebook or whatever. I'm even on X, but I don't really get onto X that much, admittedly. I just kind of get on there to communicate with people that I know that are on X, basically. So, and do Zack Snyder stuff. And of course, Zack Snyder's on Instagram now, so, and he's been kicking ass on Instagram. All right, so he doesn't have any accessories. He doesn't have the usual rifle that Webstor comes with, and he doesn't have the backpack with the cord like Webstor usually has. It's just kind of a. It looks like to me like the Four Horsemen probably would have designed this type of backpack, so it was more sort of incorporated into the armor, and didn't quite look as bulky. That's my guess as to what their intention was here, but I'm not sure. I don't have the statue or anything like that, so I don't really have anything to compare it with. But he's a really cool looking figure. I do wish he'd come with a rifle. You know how I am. I don't care if they used it on the cartoon or not. I would prefer for the characters to have their classic accessories. But I kind of figure maybe since he's got like 4 extra limbs here, that might be part of why he doesn't have a rifle or anything. And these do have like little joints at the end of them, so they are actually articulated. But it does seem like they're going to be kind of tight just because of the way that this joint works. So I'm going to try to loosen it up a little bit, and hopefully it'll be a little more posable. They'll certainly turn around, but it's the moving in and out that I'm kind of concerned with. And TMNT says, has anyone played Tabs? No, I haven't. I don't know if somebody else in the chat has, but I have not played Tabs. And then Sean Franklin is here, and he says hi. Hi, Sean Franklin. And Al Davis says, I'm intensely detailed when it comes to drawing and a perfectionist. And hard on myself if I do shit drawings. Parts 1 and 2 will be finished pretty soon. And by finished, I mean collected and sorted. Well, good luck. I hope it works out for you. I know what it's like to not be satisfied with your own work. I've been there before. I know how that can be. So I was thinking maybe these are identical, but they aren't. They are different. So there are at least 2 different kinds of spider legs here. There's a shorter spider leg and a longer spider leg. So, and it looks like they're kind of mirror image of each other, at least these smaller ones. So I'm guessing these go at the top. I think that those probably go at the top. Let me look at the illustration. It's kind of hard to tell in the illustration, but it makes sense to me that the smaller ones would be at the top. TMNT says, totally accurate battle simulator. That's what tab means. Yeah, I haven't played that. Sorry. But I hope you have fun with it. Is it a role-playing game or something like that? Or a video game? Or I don't know. I'm out of the loop as far as games go. I'm sorry. Let me get these legs plugged into them, since they are technically going to be part of the articulation. I think that's how they go. Yeah, it looks like there's 2 sets of legs, and they're both kind of mirrored to each other because they curve in certain directions. So there he is. There he is, all put together. And I'm probably just going to print him out a rifle because I want him to have a rifle. Al Davis says, sci-fi 2-parter, gangster one-off, vampire one-off, and a sci-fi horror should all be finished around the same time so I can launch with several finished books. Well, awesome. Keep me up to date and let me know what happens with them. I like all of those things. So TMNT says it's a video game where you play battles and you have a ragdoll characters, blue and red, and you can make characters. It's really cool. That does sound really cool, actually. So, and Al Davis says hi to Sean. So, I've never had a Webstor figure, and I know there's been a few. I didn't have the Classics version, and I didn't have the Masterverse version, and I believe they both had like the 4 extra spider legs on them. But none of the ones that I've managed to get has ever had the extra spider legs on them. So, and it does seem like, oops, I was thinking there was some extra articulation here, but it looks like they just kind of glued the pieces together. And the spider legs don't fit into the armor quite as snugly as I would like. There's not really anything to catch here. You see, it's just a straight peg. And maybe if they'd put like a little bit of a lip or something on there, it would help. But, I mean, like, if your kid's playing with it, I don't think it's going to come off too easily, so that's good. But you probably don't want to do what I did and like grab them by the leg, because then it might slip off. It's not slipping off here, but it did slip off on the other one. TMNT says they're always dancing, and said you could said, are you riding a bull because of how much he was shaking? All right, so the spider legs, they rotate all the way around, and they've got like a little bit of a hinge on them, so they can move back and forth. But like I said, they're really stiff on mine. They're probably going to loosen up over time, but right now they're still really stiff. But you can kind of move those around a little bit. So there's good articulation on there. For now, I'm going to take the spider legs back off since I talked about those, and we're just going to talk about the articulation on the figure proper. So Webstor can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilt his head kind of quizzically from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. Of course, the arms rotate all the way around the shoulders, and they can raise up to the shoulders about that far. He's got a single joint of articulation at the elbow, which bends in about that far and rotates all the way around. Webstor's got these cool sort of spikes on them, which I believe is supposed to represent fur, like how a spider is furry. TMNT asks, are my messages making any sense? They're making about as much sense as they can with absolutely no context to playing the game whatsoever. But I think you're describing it fairly well. So I think I have an idea of what you're talking about. So so yeah, I think you're describing it to someone with no context about as well as can be expected. So but I think I'm getting you. So I think. So, and then Webstor rotates all the way around at the waist. I want to take this armor off because I want to see what the chest looks like underneath the breastplate. And it looks like it's one of these where it's like these two little tabs over here at either side. And man, his hips just do not want to stay in. So I'm going to leave them out for now, at least until I finish messing around with this breastplate. And longtime fans will remember that Webstor often is packaged without even having the breastplate on because he's got that backpack, but this one, of course, doesn't have that. So I believe that this is an original torso, and you can see there's almost kind of like a spider web kind of pattern around his neck. It's supposed to be like kind of reminiscent of a spider web. Again, he's kind of almost like an evil Spider-Man, you know? Al Davis says, yeah, TMNT is the game like Little Big Planet. He asks. I've heard of Little Big Planet. I've never played that either. I don't play a lot of video games, unfortunately, but I've heard of it. I'm aware of it. So now it seems like he's on there pretty well. I think, no, it came off again, didn't it? Sometimes these things just don't want to ratchet right in the middle, and that's just how it is, unfortunately. And he does have that kind of Black Widow inspired symbol on his chest, which one of the early names for Webstor when he was being developed was Black Widow. But I'm guessing they realized that, Black Widow sounds like a girl name since, widows are, female. This Black Widower would probably be more appropriate for a male character. Plus, Marvel already had their Black Widow character and had her since the 60s. So I don't think they were quite as litigious when it came to protecting trademarks like that as they were like in the 2000s or later. Like you could have characters that would have the same name across toy lines. Like a lot of toy lines had a character in there named Wild Bill, but Wild Bill Hickok was like a real historical figure. So it wasn't like, it wasn't like if you had your Wild Bill in G.I. Joe, you were ripping off Eagle Force. Like you were ripping off the real Wild Bill, if anything. Plus, I think Larry Hama, he had a friend in Vietnam. He had a friend in Vietnam who was named Bill Hardy, and the real Wild Bill, basically, he based Wild Bill off of his friend Bill Hardy. So I'm guessing Wild Bill was probably his nickname. So, we didn't finish talking about the articulation. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. I don't need the legs off for that. So he can kick off about that far, kick back about that far. He can do the splits, no problem. He's got a single joint of articulation at the knee that rotates all the way around. And then he's got like a boot cut that rotates all the way around. And then his foot can go down point down about that far and point up about that far. Now, it's worth noting that this is one of those feet where it's kind of like almost more of an animalistic kind of foot. So it doesn't quite sit on the ground like the way a real foot or ankle would for a human, but more like a dog or a wolf or something like that, or a cat. So yeah. Let's see, where was I? TMNT says pretty much like Little Big Planet, I guess, and search totally accurate battle simulator and it'll pop up. And then Al Davis says, I hope Thomas Harris didn't also know him. Wink, wink. Yeah. So yeah, like that's it for the articulation. I don't know why. I don't know what's causing the, because this happened with other figures before you've seen where like it just doesn't want to click together at the middle for whatever reason. And if I pull the loincloth off, he has just the standard Masters of the Universe trunks under there. Not even the ones that we usually see on the 2000X cartoon collection, where it's just the one with like the little 3 studs and no other studs. No, this is the classic 80s style of trunks, which is interesting that they did that. Let's see if I can get him to click back together. And I like the overall look of the character. Like I said, it's a little bit of an unusual skin color for Webstor, and usually he's a little darker, but I still think it works. And I figure they probably went with this lighter skin color because it looked better in the animation. I'm just going to see if he can sit on the desk. Yeah, he can sit on the desk, so it's fine. So even with his feet being like that, he can still stand and everything. So that's cool. So anyway, they did a really good job with him, and I'm really happy with how he turned out. And if just sent the link to your other live. Okay, well, like my other live, because I don't have another live right now. But if you put it in the comments of one of the other ones, like yeah, that'll work. Al Davis says digitigrade legs. I've looked them up once for a werewolf costume. The live yesterday. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, but yeah, he looks really cool, and I'm really happy with how he turned out. I'm glad to finally have one that has some spider legs to him, because I do think that that was a really cool addition to Webstor when they finally did the 2000X version. So and like I said, the classics, not the classics version had it, but I never got the classics, and the Masterverse version had it, but I was never able to get the Masterverse figure. It's a very hard figure to find, and obviously the Origins figure didn't have it because it was supposed to be like a straight up, reproduction, just with better articulation of the original figure. Better articulation in slightly different colors. They're like a little more vibrant, I think. A really ugly Blue Beetle custom, says Al Davis. Yeah, you could probably get a pretty decent Blue Beetle custom, like a Masters of the Universe style version of Blue Beetle. Like I could think you could even just kind of repaint this, and you obviously would have the monster face, or you could just print out a new head, like more helmety looking head. But you could imagine that like the beetle armor just kind of adapted itself when it landed on Eternia and became a more Eternia looking creature, I guess. So I mean, he can kind of shapeshift, so it doesn't. Al Davis says, I didn't mean that insulting. I didn't take it as an insult. It's fine. Besides, I didn't design him. I don't know. It's not hurting my feelings, man. But anyway, that's it for this figure. I hope you enjoyed it. This is a fairly short episode. Didn't really we covered everything fairly quickly. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe, and all the other fun YouTube stuff down below. Al Davis says, wouldn't it be awesome to see Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman in the Motu style? That's something that I'm hoping they'll do, because they've done so many crossover lines with Origins already, and they've got the rights of DC back. Go ahead and do it. I mean, I've liked the DC figures they've put out so far. But the main thing I was actually hoping for once Mattel got back the rights is, they could do a DC crossover. And I was thinking about doing some custom figures myself of that, but it's also one of those things where I figure, well, if Mattel's going to do those themselves, and they probably are, like, do you really need to? Anyway, please like and subscribe and all that fun stuff down below. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.